Hi guys, and welcome back to episode number 46 of the Couch on Ice podcast. Exciting day for hockey. We wake up to big news with a Jack Eichel trade. Cannot be more excited about that. But before we get into discussing and analyzing that trade, let's introduce the boys. I'll throw it over to Jordan. How's it going, Jordan? What did you get up to this week?
Not too much. Just been enjoying hockey, man.
Yeah, enjoying your new house.
Yeah.
Also
watching some hockey with the fireplace going.
Oh, fancy shit up in here. Look at you.
Electric fireplace.
Keeping your toesies warm while you're watching some puck. Can't complain.
In my little PJs. Oh.
Yeah.
Onesie or what?
With the ass flap too.
Exactly. Always open,
not,
of course.
You're not getting the onesie unless it has an ass flap.
Exactly. You need the breeze.
I think you need it more or less for emergencies rather than the breeze.
Dude, I have one. I've never used that.
I used to have a whole bunch, but like I sweat so bad that like it's just uncomfortable. That I haven't worn a onesie in probably.
Yeah, man. I'm waiting to get colder. I'll be doing these pods in my onesie soon.
Can't wait for the video to be up to see that.
Miami Dolphins onesie.
Oh my! So I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Hell yeah!
That one's sick.
Beautiful. But yeah, no, they're so warm. Like it's like you can't do it for too long.
And that's the voice of Chase. I'll throw it over to you. What did you get up to this week, Chase?
Not much. What are you up to?
Nothing. I played some puck. No, I watched a lot of puck. Well, not a lot. Watched some games. Trying to lighten up. Is it just me? It's just been like a little bit more of a depressing week in hockey world. Like, it shouldn't be just me.
Jumping for joy like Panarin when he's makes passes for goals and stuff right now with this Eichel news. But I fully agree, man.
Like, this whole week, I just felt like, ugh, fuck. Like, just because of the stuff that's going on, the stuff we had to talk about, like, I can't imagine what, like, everyone else that was in that situation, specifically in these situations, feel. Like, because just talking about it makes me just feel really sad, frankly. So, I've been just trying to, watch some games and find something to take my mind off of that, and Buffalo Sabres figured out how to do that, which I never thought I'd say. The Buffalo Sabres have saved the NHL this weekend. And saved Gary Bettman from being fired an extra day, probably. So, let's talk right about that. Let's talk about the Eichel trade, because we wouldn't be hockey fans if we didn't bring it up, if it wasn't the first thing we brought up. So, finally, Jack Eichel has been traded to the Vegas Golden Knights, of course, for Peyton Krebs, Alex Tuch, a first-round pick that is top 10 protected, and a second-round pick in 2022 top 10 protected, and then a second-round pick in 2023. The Knights get Jack Eichel and Buffalo's third-round pick in 2023. So, I'm going to throw it over to Jordan first, and you're going to tell me who won this trade and how you feel about this trade to start, and then we'll get into more.
And $100 down on that.
We knew Buffalo wasn't winning this trade.
Yeah, losing
is a loss no matter how you take it, unless you get like somebody incredible back.
They had the best player in this trade, and they didn't get him, so...
Exactly. However, the package they received, I wouldn't be disappointed in. Especially with Alex Tuch. The big reason Tuch is a great asset is I think he's going to want to stay there. He
has to. He's got a 5-year contract.
I even mean after that.
Growing up, I hope things are better in 5 years.
Sabres fan. So
really?
Oh,
yeah,
that's
so I think
that's why Adam said we need people here that actually like to be in Buffalo.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, right? Is I think that was a fantastic move. They brought in somebody who has ties to the team that would want to stay there longer than their contract, most likely.
Yeah, that's
if
awesome. No way.
First thing I'll say about that is
That's
if
cool,
it's
man.
not better in 5 years, I sure as fuck hope he wants to stay in 5 years. That's a long ass rebuild if you can't get it right. But no,
and
Chase.
Peyton Krebs, we talked about previously. He's just a stud. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Krebsy. I'll throw over to Chase. Who do you think won this trade, and give a quick explanation why, and then I will explain my part.
Well, I'll start off with Alex Touch as well, just to piggy off of that. Like I was saying earlier, it's just tough to give him away. He would have been the one guy I really wouldn't have wanted to give away. Good thing for Vegas, I think they do win this in a sense, especially right now. Once Eichel gets going,
once he's healthy,
yeah, because I think it's pretty destined for them to win in the next 2 or 3 years. I think they can find a way to figure this out, especially with a guy like that. But Tuck is like a Stone. He's somebody I compare to Stone a lot.
Walmart Stone.
Yeah, hey, so I really like him for all of those intangibles and all the other things that come to the game. So, and the fact that I didn't know that anything about him having ties with Buffalo, so that's pretty unreal and makes that even more valuable than I thought it was previous. So, hopefully he can get healthy, but obviously the addition of Peyton Krebs made this happen, and I'm kind of surprised on it just being a first and a second pick, but kind of I am kind of surprised that it's just a first and a second pick, especially with those years and the stipulations and stuff like that. Like if they go deep and make the playoffs and stuff like that, like you're really like that's a good year to steal a first round pick, I guess. Like out of the years of drafts, like this should be a pretty deep year. So I don't know, maybe this isn't too bad, but
I
feel like the Sabres definitely lost a wee bit, but getting the pieces you got, as long as you can hang on to Krebs, like I think you're flying.
That's big. Yeah. Instantly, before I kick off with anything else, Vegas won this trade. I don't think that's surprising. Any deal Eichel's in, the team who gets him probably wins it for the most part. Am I allowed to be disappointed in this trade for that return when Buffalo waited 9 months to trade this guy?
I think so.
Like, that's my issue. Sorry,
I don't know if it's 100% true, but apparently it was reported by Kevin Weeks that Calgary had offered Matthew Tkachuk, Valimaki, 2 prospects and a first.
That is false. By the way, it's become to be
taken that in a heartbeat.
This morning it was like, or I think it's more. Yeah, this morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this morning they clarified that like Tkachuk wasn't on the table whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
That's
but
also
likely the other parts of it would be true. Valimaki being a part of it would make sense.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't hate that, giving that up as Calgary Flame. If you're getting Eichel back, I would say fuck. I will pay
up on that Valimaki. Like,
he's
not even in the lineup playing that Shillington.
He's in and out, and everyone raves about him when he's in. I haven't seen anything magic from him, anyways. Valimaki, if I'm being honest, like
he hasn't really solidified.
It's not stepped up.
I thought he was going to this year.
He is only 22, 23, but yeah. No,
a couple years.
I'm disappointed because Buffalo may have just ruined Eichel's chances to play in the Olympics over
this was
over a trade that they probably could have gotten done in the off season. If they, you think Golden Knights wouldn't have just said yes if Kevin Adams said, "Look, if you give us Krebs, there's a 95% chance we're taking this deal," because that's all it was waiting for. Like, because it sounds like Vegas was offering like Smith and Haig and a first and maybe even Tuck, but without Krebs. Like, if you just added Krebs, this felt like it could have been done earlier. If it was, Eichel might have been able to start the season with Vegas, which would have been huge. Could have played.
It's important to note, literally the second Jack Eichel became a player for the Golden Knights, they approved his surgery that he wanted. He's not getting that surgery.
Which is understandable. You're not going to trade for a player that and give up Peyton Krebs and Alex Tuck, let alone picks, for a player that you're like, actually, we want the same surgery that you were just fucking fighting with your other team over. So, like, that one's kind of a given. Yeah, those are the two teams. Calgary was very interested, which made sense. Yeah,
No,
I don't know.
Right. Kevin Adams confirmed that what Kevin Weeks had said was made up bullshit, as he said.
I would believe
credibility over the summer was very good, but it definitely took a big hit now.
I would believe that Buffalo asked Calgary for Tkachuk without question. I bet that's the first name on their list was Tkachuk, right? Like, but that's a given. Like, that's like saying if Eichel was going to be a Leaf. Okay, that's a bad example. Save so many guys. But like, if Eichel is going to be a Wild, let's say, the first name they're asked for is probably Kaprizov. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a given you're going to ask for the best younger player available for your center superstar, who, if he wasn't, he was second overall, but he's a first overall pick if he wasn't drafted McDavid's year.
Yeah.
There might be two players in the NHL he wouldn't be drafted first overall since McDavid's draft that he wouldn't have been first. And that may be exactly. Matthews is the only one I could think of that might be better. But even then. So, no, I love this trade for the Golden Knights. I think Buffalo should have got more in the picks. You guys kind of nailed Alex Tuck, so I won't dive into that. I love Tuck. Peyton Krebs. Yeah, I agree. I love Krebs. I think Krebs is fantastic. And like Chase said, if they could get him to stick, I think it's going to go very well for Buffalo in a way. I don't like the picks. I look at the picks and I'm like, how did you not get 2 first-round picks?
That's exactly what I was thinking, right? Like, the thirds cancel each other out, so essentially they get 1 first. But like, it's Vegas. It's not like their firsts are going to be super valuable.
And it's top 10 protected. Like, that's where I'm like, if it wasn't protected at all, I would be more inclined to be like, okay, sure. Mm-hmm. But it's top 10 protected. Like, maybe top 2. But, like, Chicago top 2 protected theirs for Seth Jones.
How do you not straight up just give him that pick? Like, that's what I don't understand.
Come on. Now I think that's a great comparison to look at as a Seth Jones to this Eichel trade. I think Columbus got as much for Seth Jones, almost, as Buffalo got for Eichel.
Well, did you see Sillinger? Like, my God, he got like 2 goals in that game. Like,
exactly. Like, it's just,
this guy's unreal. But like, man. That's not enough picks. It can't be. Like they got offered something better before.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely did.
The one thing I want to say is I really do believe Eichel, like, this was all forced to at least happen right now, because I believe he will be ready for, or at least healthy enough to play, for the Olympics. Like, that has to be the goal. I can't understand him making the choice of money over going to the Olympics. And also even Kevin Adams, as an he was born in America, so I feel like he would also have the same incline to be like, I should make sure I do move this guy before this deadline, or else there's no way he plays in the Olympics. Like, just as an American, would you not do that? So
you would think
the fact that this has happened now, I do fully believe he'll be healthy enough and on that Olympic team, just because. But I'm not. Yeah, I'm
willing.
Believe that it took this long, and it's like, why didn't this happen a month ago? And we'd all feel a lot more comfortable about.
Why didn't this happen in the off season?
Yeah,
is the better question. Like, and that's where I'm disappointed. Like, this is where I was like with Buffalo, like them waiting out. I'm like if they wait out, they better get ransom for him. Sorry, I'm just quickly finish this point.
Go
Like,
ahead.
they better get ransom if they're waiting out. They didn't. They got exactly what I thought they would get in the off season, if not less. Like, I think they could have made this deal in August.
Yeah, like
And-
it seems like it was cap implications or something like that. Like nobody
Yeah.
would do it in the off season because they didn't have enough money to start the season and pay them whatever and have that hit their cap or something like that.
That's
Or,
true.
like,
I mean,
like,
teams
it
didn't have to
must-
pay
it-
him.
It must have to do something with that. So like, because
Yeah,
I don't understand as well.
Buffalo did have to pay him $10 million this year, so that's my bigger thing. Like, why didn't they get more for that? Be like, hey, we just saved you guys $10 million because we had to pay this guy.
No shit.
Like, give us a first. Like, you're not getting him unless you give us 2 firsts. Like, I don't understand how that wasn't in the conversation. And I get that, like, they were being forced into a decision and all that. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if the NHL maybe called Buffalo and said, hey, we need to win. Do something. Get this over with. Like,
Yeah.
this
reality,
seems like a very perfect time for some
Yeah,
good
like-
news in the NHL, as well, I'll say.
like I said, like this is good for Vegas the next. Well, as long as you have Eichel, basically.
As long as
the
you have
next
Eichel,
3 to 5 years. But this is amazing, I would say, honestly, for Buffalo going to the future, because as long as Krebs works out pretty good and sticks, and obviously it sounds like I would say Touch is going to be there for a long time. Like, as long as you get something out of this, these picks, like especially the first round, like I said, this is a good draft. Like, you should be able to get somebody solid out of this, and that's a full line. Like, maybe that's a full line for you moving forward. That
Yep.
can really push, force the envelope, make your team better. You got lots of prospects and stuff like that. Like,
the one thing
nothing
I'll
but
add,
up for Buffalo. So
yeah,
it's probably going to take so long for Buffalo again, because like it seemingly takes an extra 5 years. Like, you almost got to take the 3 or 4 years just to get to a position to have the prospects, and then another 3 or 4 years just to get them in a position to actually win.
yeah, for
So-
sure. I like their prospect pool right now, though. Like, I really do like Buffalo where they're heading with certain players.
they
like,
got-
there's certain
lot
guys here that look
pieces.
real good. Victor Olofsson's awesome, by the way. Like, he's so good. If they can keep him, it's gonna be a longer shot to keep him. But
Oh man, if you look at this team and these prospects, like, you're going to be picking between Jack Quinn, Paterka,
Jack Quinn's good.
or Olofsson. Like, those are the guys you're going to be picking from.
Yeah.
Asplund, you're going to be having to choose between who you really
Yeah,
want to move
for sure.
forward with. Krebs and
No,
how
who
many
else is
centermen
in
you
there?
got going in
Casey
in the system.
Middlestat. Casey
Yeah, we talked
Middlestat's
about
in that.
centermen. Casey Middlestad, Cousins. Like, now you got Krebs in there.
Krebs
Obviously,
can
you're
play
probably
center.
keeping him because he's got a lot more higher of a ceiling than it seems out of what a lot of people say about Krebs. I don't know. Would you compare him to Cousins? Like, I guess Cousins a bit bigger guy. Maybe he can bring the other side of the game that Krebs doesn't.
So what happened in there?
Is that the future, Cousins and
Krebs
Krebs?
together, or is a 1-2?
Not together, but like as like maybe a 1-2 situation.
I have seen that. I think Krebs might be more successful high end wise as a winger, but as an option at center. As an option at center, he's some guy who can. I would say like a JT Miller that can slide in there maybe, or a TJ Oshie. I would be more comfortable with him being a winger. He's really good at creating. In his draft year, he was hurt. I think he tore his ACL or something like that. I think it was bad. And that's why he fell. He was supposed to be a top 10 pick, roughly, around that. And he dropped to 17, so because of that big injury. So I think he's...
Yeah, I remember seeing him play with Kootenay.
Yeah, he's a very skilled offensively minded forward who could probably get 20 goals and
he's
50 assists.
Center right off the bat because they don't got much going on right now. Guys are out and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
well, is Asplund playing center or is he playing wing? with
He's
Olsen.
usually playing wing. They might have had him at center because they
Yeah, with all the
running
stuff.
out of guys.
Absolutely. I was just curious because him and Olsen play so well together. I want to know who that
I
other
think they had like
winger will be.
Gergensons and those guys. I'm just
Yeah.
taking a peek right now at this.
Yeah, I'm looking at their team too, and it's
super epic Buffalo team that's lighting it up. Right? Oh
Man,
yeah, Tage Thompson. That's who's been really going.
he's
He's been
awesome.
playing.
I liked
Yeah,
him
no,
so far.
Asplund's gonna be a winger. I think they're just gonna keep him there because they know he
Yeah.
plays better there.
That's what I think
Just
too.
kinda-
I think this. I don't think this Buffalo team is 5 years away. I genuinely don't, though. The thing that's gonna kill Buffalo in the future is Jeff Skinner. Funny enough, like this contract is
Yeah.
long contract. Oh boy. Yeah. That's the only thing that I look at this team and I'm like, yikes for the future. And they look like they could. The way they're playing and some of these prospects are kind of coming. Is it too much to say they should be a playoff team in 3 years? Or at least pushing?
No,
like a bubble?
They
At
should
least
be.
a bubble?
Yeah, no, they should be.
They
Like I
should be.
said,
Okay.
with the talent that they have, like they're gonna be real good and stuff like that, and start getting good. But like it's to actually get to a cup window. Like man, a lot of these guys are gonna look good and they sound good right now. But in 3 years, these guys are like what 20, 21, 22. Rasmus Dahlin's like 24. Like still
Dahlin 23.
real young players here.
About 23 to 24 years old, these guys will be. So, like, where the Leafs pretty much were last year, 2 years ago. Like, so, like,
exactly.
That's why I think they're going to be good sooner than later. Like, but then I don't trust Buffalo because it's been 12 years since they've been a playoff
let's
team.
think about it. Like with a good group like that, that's a very good, talented group. Maybe they can get those not Kyle Okposos, those solid complement vets and stuff like that. That well, you could keep Okposo for not $6 million, but
well, I don't know. In 3 years, he
he
should be done. You would hope.
Yeah, hey. Yeah, no doubt.
Sabres.
He's got another year on his contract after this
Yeah.
year, so you got to wonder what he chooses to do. But yeah, this I like it for Buffalo really going forward. It's just like they definitely we all thought they were gonna get that one extra nice piece out of this.
Yeah, and they just didn't. But I don't. It's a sigh of relief in Buffalo where it's only going up from here now. There's no, or it shouldn't go anywhere but up, realistically, unless like Dylan Cousins is out for the season or something like that. That would be the worst thing to happen. Like this Buffalo team should be fine now. I'm not too worried about them. They're gonna be where they're supposed to be in the league for the next couple of years. Is what's gonna happen. I think they'll be competitive every night, but I don't think they're gonna be good. I like Don Granato as the coach of this team. I really like the way they play under him. They got a couple of young guys that fit well, so I don't see it going anywhere.
They can survive till Touch gets back. That could really
easily. They've been doing it without
really give him a good push. So
him and Eichel, like they haven't had like anyone involved in this trade this season, and they've been playing good. So I don't see how adding them for basically nothing is going to be a detriment, right?
Exactly.
Unless they just don't fit. But moving on to Vegas. Before we kind of like talk about their team, I'm just gonna throw in their signing that we forgot to talk about last episode, which is Zach Whitecloud signs a 6-year, $16.5 million extension. That's a $2.75 million AAV. What are you guys' thoughts on this deal before we kind of analyze how Vegas is gonna look? I'll throw it to you, Jace, to start.
I like it. What was the
2.75 a year for 6 years.
Yeah.
For 6 years too. That takes him until he's 30. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's definitely worth that much probably to him right now. So no, that's beautiful. Nice to have a guy that wants to stick around and be there. And doesn't want to just try to be the greatest player on earth and prove that he's worth $10 million or something like that.
Yeah.
Just wants to play hockey and win cups. So
no, I think is funny. I think he has the longest contract of a Vegas Golden Knight now. Yeah.
Yeah.
He is officially the longest contract.
Oh man, they got
Vegas
some gems in defense. Like whether you want to say they traded all their guys away, they've really
Not
singled out
defensively.
some certain guys.
Yep.
Nick Hague,
Dylan
White
Coughlin.
Cloud.
White
Yeah,
Cloud.
Coughlin, like
They got some
I didn't know
younger guys
Coughlin
up
was
front
touted
too.
as high as he has been, but he has a lot of people talked about him the last couple of years. So
Yeah. There's some other guys like this Jake Lescension guy. He's pretty decent. I don't mind him. He's a second round pick. Like there's a couple guys they drafted that, not many are guys, but some younger guys they got to go for the future. But like you said earlier, Chase, with this team, they got to win the cup in the next 3 to 5 years, at least. Like with Eichel there, next 3 years, I think they will.
My window for them right now is probably this year, next year, or the year after.
Yep.
If it's not happening, then obviously I can't see it. I can't really look 4 or 5 years into the future, but I feel like I can look at least 3 and say, yeah, it's possible, and they should be able to do it.
Yep, I agree. I don't see why they couldn't.
I want to look at their cap situation. Let me pull that up again, because they got how long they got Patches and all those guys for. They got Mark Gasol for 3, so that's not bad.
They have
Carlson for ever, Petro for ever, Alec Martinez for 3, Shea Theodore for 4. So yeah, I'd say a good 3, at least 3 years.
Yeah. It's this team is really good, and
you do have Leonard for 4. You have Theodore for 4. But you don't really have anybody else other than Carlson and Petro. So,
want to know what makes this trade even better? Is Chandler Stevenson just went from your first line center to your third line center?
Oh man, I love that guy.
I love Chandler
so
Stevenson.
Sad that the decision had to be made. That you did need to do the final piece to the puzzle. Actually, go big and trade
center
for that first line center. Because Stevenson was just a band-aid on a situation you couldn't find that first line center, and it wasn't worth the deal.
And it worked. It worked well. That being said, with the Stevenson deal,
yeah, because they should have won, right? I wanted
last year
so bad, man. God, he was. I feel kind of bad for the guy because he's kind of technically not enough in the last couple of years.
And
or the
know what
depth
else
wasn't enough. There was something missing. That we all say it's the first line center, but
do you know who screws Stevenson the most? Funny enough, is William Karlsson. You cannot have William Karlsson is an amazing second line center for this team. Amazing, I love him for that second line center because he's that second line center. And Eichel coming in. There's no spot for Stevenson, who deserves
there's no
that top
spot.
6.
Yep.
So
it is. I've noticed that. That's why it's weird.
He literally jumps from one of the best shutdown lines in hockey to the third line. That's really that sucks for him.
The Stone and Pacioretty line is to me considered as the second line with Stevenson because
the first line is
still the misfit line.
Marchessault, Smith, and
they
Karlsson,
like to put it down as the second line, even though I don't know.
It's not. No, I know what you mean.
Say what you want, but
it's people saying that the Gord line for Tampa was their second line when it's really their third line. It's projected, but they played more than their so-called second line in Tampa, right?
I've said this before, and I'll say it again, man. So happy that they went towards doing this, and said this is the last final piece. You do need to trade for a first line. Look at Seattle. Look at how our team was off the start. Literally, that misfit line was a first line for us, and we know that's not going to stay like that, but they can at least be a second line, and they've proven to be a second line, and they were smart to go out and get those Stones and Pacioretty's, or else where would they have been the last few years? Because that misfit line was not epic as the first year. So I'm just so happy they went out and got that last piece. You had to do it. It's the price is what you paid, and I think they can do this. I think they can for surely do this. The defense is not going anywhere. Like I said, the next 3 years you should be pretty set. You got to sign Riley Smith, and Riley Smith is not the most consistent player in the league, and he's not going to want more money. And you don't have anybody else like Peyton Krebs or somebody like that.
Nobody's going to be able to.
Patrick. You still have Patrick, which is, I feel, super key.
Patrick could
being able to take another push for another person if you really,
Yeah, if you
really
trade.
need to.
No, what they need is him just to be healthy for a season. Just a season, just get his value
Yeah,
up
the
again,
league
show
needs
what
to
he
see that.
is. Yeah, I want to see what he is. Like I've seen it in small doses, but I need to see a little bit more. And they got him for 2-year contract, which is so nice. For him to be a chance. Yeah, I love this
exactly.
team. Cup, like they were already cup contenders before Eichel. Now look at them. You can argue they're better than any team in the league, while healthy.
Yeah.
Like you can. Now you can finally say they're as good as Tampa or Colorado because they have that number one center.
Yeah.
And know what we haven't even talked about that I'm most excited about is Jack Eichel finally gets playing a good team. Like we haven't even brought that up yet. That Jack Eichel is on a legit NHL team now. Like
No doubt.
so he's gonna let it
No
up
doubt.
hopefully. Do you guys have anything final on Vegas before I can move on to the Rangers? No,
I think you nailed it.
good. Cool. Let's move on to the New York Rangers and kick it off with a whole heap lot of money given to a young man, Adam Fox. He signs a 7-year, $66.5 million deal that comes to 9.5 AAV. Jordan, what are your initial thoughts on the Fox signing?
I think it's great. I don't think it's bad, but like
No.
obviously this is a team that's gonna have a lot of money coming out soon, so
They're filling up their cap real fast is what I'll
Yeah.
say.
that's exactly it. I think it's a great signing, but I'm worried that they're filling up their cap too quick.
Yep, it's a very fair assessment.
Phew.
Chase,
Yeah.
thoughts? I know how much
Like,
you
like-
love
like-
these big defenseman deals.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, no doubt, man. Holy Christ! From 9.25 to 9.5 million. Like, wow.
Buddy, the
10 times the amount.
yeah, the guy just adds a couple zeros to his contract, like casually. Jesus Christ.
Casually, just for the rest of his life. Well,
Yeah.
I guess with taxes, they only get $6 million.
Yeah.
$4 million in Canada. Half. Yeah,
Even
so-
though he's a Ranger.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like that's what I'm saying. He probably gets like a good 6, 7, maybe even 8, and
Yeah.
how much. I'm not. I think
I don't know
probably
what the tax
tax
situation is in New York, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, all I know is it could probably all just be the same when it comes to the NHL, so it doesn't. So people aren't just making decisions on where to play just because they get an extra $2 million because of tax, like in their pocket. But
Yeah, I don't.
anyways, no, it's. I don't know. He's won the Norris last year. Like, there's no not giving him that much when everybody else is getting that much.
Absolutely.
But yeah, have fun dealing with that $15 million you got in raises next year that you got going on so far.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have a very long-winded answer here because I'm going somewhere with it. So bear with me. Starting with the Adam Fox, I think it's a great deal. He won the Norris last year. He looks just as good this year. Based on the defensive market, Seth Jones got this much money. I will take Adam Fox every single day over Seth Jones. Not that we won't get Seth Jones into this, but I love Adam Fox. I think it's a great deal. He's 23. He can only get better, it seems. I think there's very little downside in this signing. Very, very little. Now, the point I want to make is, does this not answer the fact that he's their next captain? We made fun of them for having 6 alternates, and I know Chase's main argument is, well, he's not even an A. Why in the fuck would you give him a C? And
Well,
I
it's
told him,
it
and
is weird.
it's a fair argument, but I'm gonna try and convince you guys on why he should be captain. Maybe not should be, but why he's going to be captain. So let's start all the way back from Adam Fox's draft. Who was he drafted by, guys? None other than the Calgary Flames. Because if you don't remember, he was in the trade. He was in. I can't remember what the trade was. I know it was a fairly big, decent trade though. Calgary trades him to Carolina. Again, he said nope. I don't want. He said he wouldn't sign in Calgary, so they traded him to Carolina. Nope, I won't sign in Carolina. I want to be a Ranger. He's wanted to be a Ranger his entire life. So he finally goes, wins a Norris, which name the last defenseman who is actually like good for the Rangers. Like, and I mean like top end, not. Who's the last guy you guys can think of as a Rangers defenseman who is like this good for the franchise?
Well, McDonough was pretty amazing for them.
Not that good. Not this good.
Not to this epic level.
So who's the next guy?
Not
then,
many of
after
these guys
McDonough
come together. Brian Leach was on
Brian
there,
Leach. Brian Leach is the guy. They haven't had a guy this good since Brian Leach. He just won the Norris. He wants to be a Ranger. He also came out and said, Fox, that I felt like I've been a Ranger in my entire life. That's why I wanted to be here the whole time. He's been a Rangers fan his whole life. It's the perfect story to give him the captaincy. Young up defenseman, signed for 7 more years, so he's on your team for that long. Wanted to be a Ranger his whole life. He worked a lot of teams to make sure he was a Ranger. Wins the Norris. And it just works. They haven't given someone a captain. Panarin said no. so who else do you give it to? It just makes the most sense for Adam Fox to be captain, because then he's your captain for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Does it make sense when I put it that way? Make more sense?
Yeah, it could also be Kreider getting it though, and then him.
I get that.
I think he will be the captain.
My also thought with Kreider is,
I'm with you on Kreider.
with the cap, I like Kreider for it, but why wouldn't they just name him captain now if he's not captain?
Yeah, true enough. If they already were
like, why? If he's oh so clear the captain, which I could definitely agree with you guys that he should be. I was saying to give Kreider the captain like 3 years ago, though. Like, they're clearly not going to give it to him.
I thought he was the captain last year, which really tripped me out.
He's an A. He's always talked about being the captain because he's the only guy who's still here from those 2010 ish times where they were good.
Like, I guess I don't know him very well, obviously, in locker room situations in any way, shape, or form, but like I assume or hear that he's one of those guys. That's really the only reason why I would go with that. And yeah, exactly.
Kreider?
Longest tenured. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I just make sure you're talking about him, not Fox.
Yeah, I would be fine with either, really. Like, wouldn't surprise me. I don't know if you would go with anybody else unless you're going with Mika. Like, I don't know. Love Mika and all.
I see, and I think that too. But again, like, he signed his extension early. Just why don't they have the C yet? There's these guys that they're like, oh wow. Not if like Mika's 28, Kreider's 30. Like, those are two prime age-wise candidates for captain. They've been there a while. They just signed long-term recently. But it's the argument of why aren't they already captain if they are going to be captain? Mm-hmm. It makes no sense to wait extra 2 years for these guys when they're already in the team.
I believe it's because they're in the cap situation. Like, then they have to move. Like, they know they're going to have to move somebody. Somebody's going to have to go.
And that's my argument with Fox.
With these upgrades and stuff, or
for sure,
15 million in cap up. So like Strome is out of there and he's an A, or maybe they don't keep Barkley Goudreau. Probably not going to be possible to trade him, but keeping Zibanejad, maybe you do trade Kreider.
Like that's where my mind goes. But you've not once brought up that Fox will be traded, and that's why not. He's going to be there the longest. Mm-hmm. Right, that's just how I'm trying to make it. You haven't
given him an A, which is kind of confusing to me.
Because he hadn't signed his contract as well. He hadn't been locked up. Maybe that's what gets it done.
Yeah.
Because like by all like reports, it sounds like Artemi Panarin was offered the C. Like Panarin, they wanted Panarin to be captain. Panarin said no.
Yeah, he's not.
Because he's not captain material. He said he's not. He said, I'm willing to wear a letter. And I'm a leader on this team, I know that, but I'm not the leader, he said. So, which is fair. Fine. If the player denies it, then he can't really. But like the next best option is probably Fox for long term. He's your best player. That isn't Panarin, I guess.
He's always wanted to be there.
Always wanted to be there. He
Exactly.
saw himself. It just makes
He'll
the
give you
most
your
sense.
heart and soul.
Yep.
Play one random year and just boom.
Yeah.
The most epic defenseman. So.
And
yeah, no, I feel you. I do like it going to Fox, but
it just seems to make more sense for him
for
to
like
get
an
it,
actual
right?
long-term C and like him be there forever. Like Kreider's still like it does seem like forever, but like I don't know, Fox could be one of the longest tenured captains.
Exactly, he could be up to 10 to 15 year captain. Like
that'd be pretty cool.
That would be really cool. It just seems to make more sense. So I just want to talk about the Rangers in that aspect, and also wanted to pump his tires a bit on how good Adam Fox is, because wow,
yeah,
like this guy he's the real deal. He's up there with obviously Kel McCarr and stuff. He's the way he's already started the season. Like why can you not argue he's one of the best, if not the best? So, in the league. So I just had to give my little rant about that and see if I could convince you otherwise a little bit at least.
Oh yeah, a little bit for sure.
So I'll take that as a W. I'm Golden Knights won, but
I'd be down with that just because the long term and everything, and just Ranger land and stuff like that. Like absolutely, I think it's a pretty good idea to go. Like, yep.
Just seems it makes sense. Makes sense.
We fully agree. You're meant to be here. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone can agree he's the one that wouldn't.
Like I said, it's hard to say this stuff when you have no idea too much on how 100%. Like they actually are in the locker room.
Never been in the locker room.
He's truly that leader. Like I feel like everybody looks to Kreider a lot more than they look to.
Yeah, but no one says that he doesn't have. He's still wearing a letter. You just don't listen. It's not like you don't listen to someone because they're wearing an A and not a C.
It's just like those guys that you just end up looking to. It's not that you're.
Thinking of it as a letter. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like even guys like say Boone Jenner hasn't had a C forever, but like everybody looked to him as like a big leader in the locker room. It didn't matter.
I know what you mean. I 100% get what you're coming from with it, but there's also the element of the captain is usually teams like to give it to the best player who's also a leader, right? You don't want to give it typically to, especially like how many teams have we seen win a Stanley Cup where their captain was a third liner or something, and that wasn't like a previous like number one center.
That's a good point.
So like that's where I'm when you take the final picture of winning the Stanley Cup, who do you want to lift it first, Adam Fox or Chris Kreider?
Yeah, no doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
So like that's also a money thing. Being the captain is you need to be the most endorsed player on the team and the most jersey sales you're hoping for and all that such. So there's a lot of intangibles with it where, like you're saying, you could not wear a letter and you could be listened to way more than anyone in the room, which is the case. But I got one more thing on the Rangers. The Rangers loaned out Vasily Kravtsov to the KHL, so he's gonna probably be there all year, knowing the Rangers, because they're not gonna trade him. Do you guys have anything on Kravtsov as well? We've kind of talked about him in the past couple of weeks a lot, but is there any points to make on him being loaned to the KHL?
Do you know what team he's gonna play on now?
I don't. I just saw that.
I wonder who he's gonna be playing with over there.
Let's see.
Because like that would be pretty sweet if he plays with like that Shipashov or one of those guys that is lighting it up in the KHL right now. He just gets annihilation points.
Yeah, that would be sweet. I'm just gonna look right now and see if it's on elite prospects.
Did that just happen? So
this happened
to Tractor Chel.
Oh yeah,
there we go.
The Tractor.
Back to the team he's always been on. Yeah,
Chelyabinsk.
Yeah, that's a team. He's played there a lot before. Played 24 points in 49 games the last time he was there.
That is wonderful.
He played for their youth team, all youth pretty much, and put up like 40 points in 30 games. So
They've got
I
Vitaly
wish.
Abramov.
that's pretty
Yeah,
good. He's
I
decent.
was gonna
He's
say,
all
I
right
know.
prospect.
I've
Yeah.
seen this team this year one time. I don't remember anybody, but nice.
So do you-
Sergei Kalinin, is he actually? That'd be pretty sweet
Never
if
heard
he's
of
on that team.
have
Sergei Kalinin? I swear
Kalinin?
he's like old. Like super
Sergey
old.
Kalinin. Yeah, no, can't
Maybe
say I've
that's
ever
like a
heard of that
super
name.
old guy.
Maybe that's like older than me, like my time. So, do you guys feel Kravtsov will be traded before next season? Because I got this feeling that he's not going to.
I feel like if they do, it'll be a deadline move, and he'll just be in it like an additional piece. But otherwise, I don't see it either. I think this is just a move to keep him happy until they can get him regular NHL minutes.
If that, I don't know what's going on there. Like, this is a fucked situation. I want to know what's going on with these Rangers prospects. Like, why did Lias Andersson just decide I don't want to be here? Why is Kravtsov all of a sudden deciding not wanting to be here?
Yeah.
And it's tough. I'm big questions out of New York, and apparently Drury is very much a. I don't know him personally, so I can't really say this was at full vote of confidence, but he seems pretty. He holds a grudge, let's say, and if he's totally fine with waiting all year for Kravtsov not to be traded, he won't care. He'll sit there and wait for this player to either say,
Yeah, exactly.
stop
He's
bitching,
21.
or
They can wait.
Yeah, so which I don't love. Like
right, like that's
yeah, absolutely. At least he's getting games. He's playing games, which is nice. It's just, it's still just annoying, right? Like you don't want to see this. What team do you want to see young players go to them and be like, yeah, I want out of this fucking place? Especially a team like New York. Like that's not a team you ask to be traded away from typically.
Like, as a fan, it's so exciting seeing young guys come in and break into the lineup. Like, if you told
one of
me
the
that
best things about hockey
was pissed off and wanted to leave, I'd be so upset.
And that's the best example. Who is this team's best prospect that isn't solidified in the NHL? It's probably Kravtsov.
Is Miller considered certified?
I would say he's graduated more.
Yeah, more or less.
More like Kravtsov has. Like, he didn't even make the team this year. At least Miller's on the team right now, right? Like,
true enough.
It's just that one other defenseman that they have, but yeah, exactly. He would be there.
They got a couple D-men. Matthew Robertson's pretty all right, too. Braden Schneider as prospects.
But no, I'd probably put Kravtsov a little bit higher, depending how those guys
I would.
turn out.
At this minute, I
maybe
would.
Does this go to like an offer sheet here or something like that? Is that what's gonna happen?
I think he's signed, isn't he? I think Kravtsov's signed
for one more year. Yeah.
For next year.
Because like nothing's probably gonna happen this year. There's no rush for anybody to do anything. Like unless like his agent can yell as much as he wants, or Kravtsov can yell as much as he wants. But I don't know. I guess they could wait until.
It's a thought. I don't see why not. Like he would sign it.
It's sheet or something like that. But would you get anything out of that offer sheet?
And that's the thing. The Rangers can just match. Like, what are you gonna offer someone who's never had an NHL experience? You're gonna offer him $2 million right away at 21 to 22. He's playing an NHL team. Like, I like Kravtsov, and I'm willing to
can't afford that.
Yeah, but they would probably match it and trade it or something.
Well, that's what I mean, though. But like, it would still put a whole wrench in their fucking.
It might put a wrench in your team too, though, because he's only 22. Let's say, so what's a contract? So if you give him $2 million for a third-round pick, is pretty much what it's worth. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
If you offer $2 million to offer shoot him, why wouldn't the Rangers just match that? Because it's only $2 million. You can bury $2 million. Okay, let's move it up to be worth, let's say, a second-round pick, which is around $2.5 to $3 million range. Now, no matter how Kravtsov plays, he can get 50 goals or 1 throughout that year. If you want his rights to be yours, you have to pay him at least up to that $3 million as a qualifying offer. That might screw you up as a team. Like, if you're a Buffalo or something who is bad and money is no object, then it's like, whatever.
Well, it's just like we've seen with the
Car-
Kotkaniemi. Like,
exactly.
you have to give
That's
the guy way too much money than he deserves to be able to nab him. But
yes.
that money doesn't cost that much in pick terms, I guess. So,
And that's the thing,
it's
right?
worth it in the end. Like, I don't know if you would you do this, not the same, because Kotkaniemi was 6. Was that the most in that range, or was
Yeah,
that the
least in that range.
that was
It
the
was
least in that range? So you would have to do
they
the same thing with Kravtsov. So are you doing that?
no.
Probably not.
And then
Or are
on
you
the
doing
flip
that?
side, so if you're trying to get for them to take it, why wouldn't you just offer them straight up instead of saying like, hey, we can get you signed for a 2-year deal, $900K, let's say. We have to trade a second and a third. Okay. We were gonna give up a second for an offer sheet. And for $3 million under the books. Like, it's stuff like that, right? Like, it's not worth, I don't think, the same as much as you'll trade. You could probably get him cheaper trade.
Yeah, that almost, yeah, exactly. Like,
almost
it
makes
seems like
sense.
it's pushing towards him not getting traded for too much. Just
and that's exactly where the Rangers are gonna shoot
for
themselves in the foot. I don't think they should like settle for the least offer, but I think they should definitely take
a trade.
Take a trade as early as you can. That, like, if they're offering you nothing, a 3rd round pick or something right now, or like
I think
two low end prospects.
Is the roadblock Trouba? Like, they love Trouba.
They do love Trouba,
but
you don't love that $8 million.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you could package him with Trouba to make it seem a little bit better, and that's how you lose.
Yeah.
Like, do you gain off? I feel like you'd gain off of that if you're shedding like basically all that cap, replacing it with like maybe a 4.
That's a better way to look at it. I think you should use Kravtsov. He doesn't want to be there. Use Kravtsov to get rid of shit cap if you have to. But like that's the thing. Like, there's 2 names that I can bring up right now where you're like, oh, these guys need to go. Trouba, they don't seem to want to get rid of him. And like, unless you're upgrading, or at least like getting something equally as good as Trouba, doesn't make sense to really give him away at this point because they're trying to be good. And then there's Kreider, but like,
and he also wanted to be there.
Yeah, like,
he's like another.
He's a guy they want.
That didn't work out as amazingly, but
yeah, exactly. He just didn't win like but he's still sick.
The Rangers, so
and
great defensive and stuff.
By the way, he's been so good this year. He's got 7 goals, 1 assist in 10 games. Kreider is 7 fucking goals this year. Like, he's been really good.
Yeah. So stepping up with those odd injuries with Kako and all that sort of stuff.
So like,
Kravtsov not being there, hey.
And that's the thing. Like, those are the 2 cap hits you look at that you don't love, but you don't trade them away. Unless you trade away Barclay Goodrow, who they literally just got and won't do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna hold him out with Kravtsov. I don't love the situation. I hate when young players are in binds like this. It feels like they're failing the team and the team is failing their development, and it's a lose-lose. And I just hate it when it happens. I would much rather see a hockey player who just doesn't make the NHL based on his talent, rather than being pissed off at a certain GM that drafted him or team that drafted him, right? Just seems like wasted potential in my eyes. But I'm ready to move on from the Rangers because we've been talking about them for a long time. Jesus Christ. So let's move on. Let's talk about the games, even though we usually do that in the first part of the episode. We'll do it like 50 minutes into it. Let's talk about the games we watched. Who wants to kick it off?
I will.
Jordan, you kick her off then.
All right. The first one I want to talk about again is Calgary. Not for Calgary, though. They played against Nashville.
Yeah. Nashville.
And I had a heck of a laugh watching Mark Borowiecki absolutely give the sauce to, I think it was Coleman.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see that fight, actually. I'm not surprised.
He gave him a fucking right hand straight to the noggin, and it was a hard one.
I didn't see that. I'm gonna pull that up right now while you keep talking about the game.
I like the fights, especially when it's the older guys that I've watched, for a while. Like Mark Berwick, he's obviously not a superstar by any means, but goddamn, can he throw a fun punch to watch? No, it was a good game. It was a really close game. I think that it was a very, very, very good performance.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's a hell of a haymaker.
It was against Richie, by the way. Not.
Oh yeah,
but still, holy shit! His helmet went flying.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Sorry to cut you off. I just that was a punch.
Yeah, it was a fun fucking fight.
Oh, I love fighting.
Yeah, I know. Me too. So but I think that this game was unfortunately a very bad performance from the referees.
Yeah, based off the stats, Markstrom didn't look too outstanding either, letting in 2 goals on 19 shots. That's not surprising. I mean, Markstrom being bad, surprising to be fair. So,
well, especially with the season he's had, yeah.
Sorry, continue with the referees being asshole.
I think it was the overtime winner, if I'm remembering correctly. There was like 2 penalties in the play. There was a tripping.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, Flame was tripped right there. I think it was Kachuk or something. I can't remember who it was, but I remember he went to keep the puck in and had it, got tripped, and it was a 2-on-1. Yeah, Granlund takes it and they score. Yeah, I saw that. I wasn't happy about that either. That's something I've been trying to avoid all season is talking about is these refs. They've missed a lot of calls this year and it's not been good.
Yeah, usually it's not something that catches my attention, obviously more than the actual game itself, but
exactly. I'm usually
overtime winner.
Mm-hmm. I'm usually pretty that's just the game of hockey. I've reffed before, so it is what it is, man. Get over it, sort of thing. Most of the time.
Most of the time, I'm like that. But
I think from behind's have been the one thing that kind of has been ticking me off a little bit. Just stop pushing people from behind, please. While they're going for the puck, just wait, just squeeze them against the boards. Just don't push them.
There's just so many penalties not called, but yet they'll call, which I get why they're calling them in softer, but a simple cross check where nobody will even flinch after it will get called. But you could be in the boards and someone will slew foot you and all you get is a fine. At PK Subban. But come on.
Just going off 2 in the last week.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And I remember people were defending him with the Reeves one. And I don't think people should be defending him because this is what Subban does. Subban has done this for the past 4 years. He gets at least 5 slew foots this season. I don't know. I don't really think it's. Yeah. He definitely leads with his feet.
Has a track record of this.
He leads with his feet to whether he intentionally trips them or not. He does lead. So I don't know. I'm not I don't want to give the refs too hard of a time because that job sucks and I get that. I know it sucks. I've had to ref many times and in different sports too. It's not easy to do. You miss a lot of simple shit that seems like you shouldn't. But
they sure didn't
in the
even penalty minutes up. That's for sure. It's 17 minutes for the Predators and 9 for Calgary. So
that's better at least. I'm glad
that's kind of funny.
That's the thing that they do wrong a lot of time is they make the penalties. Oh, well, this guy got a tripping penalty to make it seem like I'm not favoring a team. I'll give a penalty to the other team.
Yeah,
they do that a lot. They look for penalties in certain instances.
In certain situations, it's a pretty cheesier call, like a small, measly cross check. They're gonna call it on one guy, and because it was just randomly out there, just randomly cross-checked them, nothing crazy or anything like that. But then they're gonna have to call it on the guy that they see on the other side of the ice do it, because it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's all, you can't call them all, or else there'd literally be 5 cross-checking. Because
these
guys
they've been calling them all right now.
They've
been calling them all lately because of the new rule. But
Yeah, they haven't missed too many, but like it's just hard not to do stuff with your stick. So like it's
And
yeah,
that's also why I want to talk. Like they made a call. There's a couple games I remember as a Leafs game back, where John Tavares stick lifted someone, and was cleanest stick lift I have probably ever seen in my life from behind. Was nowhere near his hands. Didn't hook. Didn't pull. Tap up. Stole the puck, and he got a hooking penalty for it. It's just certain stick infractions are so lightly called. But then, like you said, these hits from behind come in, and nothing's being done half the time. So
yeah,
it's just, what are you calling? Like, you're gonna call someone tapping someone's stick up to steal the puck, which if you're not allowed to push people, how else are you gonna take the puck? Right? Like it's like playing lacrosse.
Position.
It's like playing lacrosse but no hit kids. How do you get the puck? Well, you wait for them to shoot and miss. Like they need to define calls better. This year's just seemed to slip more than any. And the news with last year when Tim Peel, like, it was shown he was doing makeup calls. People are still refs are really nervous about that, it seems, right? So I get it. I 100% get it. It's just disappointing. Just call the game, and as best as you can.
It is what it is. I just try not to worry about it.
Just sucks when teams lose games like in this situation to it.
I watch people make mistakes all the time when I'm watching a game. I don't harp them every fucking second for it, so it is.
That's why we haven't brought it up yet, but when you lose a game for an obvious trip, like Jordan just said,
that's why you don't want to be a goalie.
Yeah.
Everybody sees your mistake.
Yeah, exactly. Chase, do you want to start with the next game? Talk about the next game you watched?
Well, jeez, I guess so. No, I just wanted to say quickly that out of that Flames Preds game, that Shillington really solidified himself on that. In that game, they got a goal and
he's a
played
good
like 19 minutes.
Defenseman.
So that was that's good news for them. That team.
The last Calgary Flame I imagine would thrive under Sutter is Shillington. The last player I probably think of. Him or Goudreau. Him and Goudreau, who have been both real good, which just shocks me because they're not his type of players typically. So, but no.
I do want to talk about the Columbus, Colorado game because that was a good game. That was crazy awesome. All of it, but Bowen Byram just shining like Mario out there,
so good,
bouncing around.
Well, that was a time that he gave to Kadri, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That was a heck of a play from him.
Yeah, or no, to Comfer. Comfer is even just unbelievable.
Comfer's got 5 goals. Like
he is like the team right now, like JT captain here. Like, my God. But no, I just love that Byram just seamlessly falls into that Makar role. I like him instantly better than Makar on that power play. Having McKinnon be able to pass to somebody who's taken a one-timer at the top there, I think you maybe something they might stick with. They have played both.
Play them both. You play Makar on the. You know what you do? You play one of them on the wing. And then
play him on sides or something
play Makar on the wing and let him skate up and down. Let him skate. Give him and McKinnon free roam. Put Landeskog in front of the net. Put Rantanen on one side and Byram up top.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Well, I think you can just make. Well, yeah, it's tough. You want to make almost just one good power play, but I wonder if it's better to make two to kind of separate, just because you do have the players to do it, especially with JT Compher, Kadri, and guys like that.
But you also forgot they have another defenseman that needs to be on the power play in Sam Girard. They have 3 defensemen who probably are in that power play range. Like,
yeah, little Makar, Girard, because they're going to be playing probably together. They will. Well, I wonder if that's what they do or something like that. Yeah. Like, man, Devin Taves was solid.
Devin Taves is good too.
Yeah, screw this team. Like, there's no way they didn't lose this game. Once again, they got to overtime, and that's how she goes. Somebody loses a game by then. But this team is finding a way to squeeze any game at least to like an overtime situation or within one or something like that. Like this doesn't matter who's out of the lineup, they're ready to go. But
wait until they're back in too, right?
But Columbus, really impressive team. This Cole Cylinder is just
the bee's knees.
Wow, that's so cool. Feel like good for him being able to be able to stick up here, get 2 goals, and
I love that you bring that up because I just checked how many games he played to see he has just played his 9th game. So next game we'll see if he's sticking for this season.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of
young guys sticking
that are at that 8-9 range right now. So
I do know Detroit's rookies. They are played their 10th game, so they're there the whole year, which not that surprising, but like just a couple of rookie names.
For sure. But yeah, no, this was impressive out of Columbus, honestly. You like to see it, especially after what all happened in the offseason there. Cylinder was even got an assist on the OT winner. Like, I wonder, man, this is like, how do you even take him out after like he is creating?
I don't think
you
can.
Impact.
He's like such a big impact for this team. They desperately needed him. I don't like rushing players typically, but in this situation, I don't hate it. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like,
he's playing well.
If you be smart with it, sometimes you don't play them like very much. They play 10 minutes. Like that's
certain games. But like
this game, he only played 15 minutes and he got 3 points. Like, they're not looking to put too much pressure on really.
One thing to add about that game to say,
Big Boom, Boom Jenner's playing awesome. It's awesome to see the captain just 6 goals.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
An add to that game I wanted to say is Patrick Laine didn't play the last 8 minutes of the third period and the whole overtime. So just something to footnote for
Still got 2 assists.
I know, but they don't like him. It doesn't seem like. Well, the head coach.
Play him. He doesn't know what to do. I don't think.
Yeah, that head coach is the one that Patrick Laine yelled at last year. So because he was assistant last year, he was the coach that Laine yelled at. So I don't think they have the best relationship. But you can continue at the game. Sorry.
No, that's all I got, man. Like, just wanted to pump those guys' tires. It was an exciting game. Byram just like, wow, that is great. That is great. Love to see that. This team is going to be just insanely hard to beat every game. Like, even with Sampo Ranta as your second line winger and stuff like that. They didn't even have Burakovsky or Ratman in this game, man. Like,
I know, crazy.
Like, pretty unreal. Obviously, it seems like they're going to have a rocky season just from how injuries and this, that, and the other things kind of gone. But yeah, like both of these teams a lot. It's kind of cool how Columbus is coming out of the weeds. Jake Bean getting 2 goals. Like, hell yeah, man.
Yeah, Jake Bean looks pretty good. I like to see that. That's all you got for that game. I'm going to talk about the Minnesota Wild and Ottawa Senators game. And I have a lot of thoughts came in my head through this game. Lots of different thoughts. This Ottawa team is so good other than their defense. And Phil Gustafsson was awesome. Like, so good. I loved how he played. He made some really big saves. It was end-to-end action, though, this game. Constantly. First period was all Minnesota. Second period was all Ottawa. And then the third period was like the most entertaining goalless third period I've ever seen, I think. I bet both goalies made 3 or 4 saves they shouldn't have in that period, which was crazy. It was always back and forth. Stützle needs... I love Stützle, and he looks like he's going to be a stud. He needs to get bigger. He's really weak out there. Understandably, I know how small he is, but like once he gets bigger, this kid's gonna be something special.
Yeah, it's just one thing that kind of worries me about that team is exactly they just
some of the
literally threw
size.
all those guys in.
Yeah, some of those young
Yeah,
guys. Drake
but-
Batherson, though, I love him. I loved how he played. He's a real deal. He just got
Everything went
contract.
right with him. Hey,
Yeah, he just fits. Same with Josh Norris. He seems to be just gels. He gels with this team perfectly. I love that. Back to Minnesota. Marcus Foligno is the most underrated winger in the NHL right now. This guy creates so much. He should have had a hat trick this game. And the question I asked Chase before the podcast was, when did Marcus Foligno turn into Nick? Turn into Nick Foligno? Because this guy's awesome. He brings everything to the table. He hits. He Superman punches. He scores. He drives the net. I love this guy. Love it.
yeah,
I love this
exactly.
Minnesota team. And
Well, he got like a point per game last year with Eck and
Greenway.
there.
Like, that's such a good line. I love this Minnesota team.
Well,
I know
not
they're
a point per game, I guess, but still,
yeah,
26 points in 39 games.
That's still pretty
Pretty
fucking
impressive for
Um,
some third line, fourth line guy. Was claimed to be for like his whole.
And want to
career
know
until,
when
like,
he was
last
claimed to
year.
be that? Do you want to know where he was playing? Buffalo.
In Buffalo.
Funny enough. So, yeah, this Minnesota team, both these teams actually, I love both these teams. I think both these teams have a lot of potential to be good, but both have an issue, and both really, really need a defenseman. Really need a defensive-minded defenseman who can just slow the game down.
Like it seems
When
like Minnesota's having trouble with the whole Sutter loss, or
They miss
like
Sutter.
we were saying before the pod. Like I feel like they just changed the whole game plan and just said we're not that defensive team anymore.
Yeah, we're gonna just score our way out of problems, and all of a sudden you get Kaprizov, and you can do that. Crazy. Which he just, for a guy who hasn't like been scoring a lot, like let's say points wise, he hasn't looked amazing. He is doing his everything to try and get those points. Like Jesus Christ, he's everywhere. Kaprizov is. Both these teams just
some guys like Nick Davis. These guys off the start of the seasons just get retarded amount of points for some reason. I don't know.
Because
like
defense
like,
and goaltending are a little shaky off the start.
Yeah, I feel fully 100% defense and goaltending is a little shaky off the start, and they
take
just
advantage.
Eat people up.
But that's the difference between
a month or two.
Like an elite player and just like a top player, right? Like that's what is the difference between these superstars and these just fourth line or first.
Yeah, I don't like his surrounding cast, or his supporting cast, old Kirill in all reality. But I also just love the heart out of every single one of the players they have.
I look at their offense and I'm not upset about it. They're maybe like a center away from being
needs
legit.
To step it up a little bit more.
Yeah, I
played off the start.
I have a lot more confidence. I have confidence that he'll do that. Like I think if they could get like one more center, that would be like the best thing for this team. That's it. Just like a decent center.
I'm very surprised they didn't go for that, but Ryan Hartman's been doing good.
Ryan Hartman's been very good. Ottawa have no defense when Shabbat isn't on the ice, which is a problem. A very big problem because he can't play 60 minutes tonight. He can play 28, which he has been, but he's not playing 60. I know they got guys in the pipeline coming up. Like I know this Bernard Docker is supposed to be like something super good, and I watched him World Juniors. Remember him? He was pretty good. Jake Sanderson's also really good left-hand defensive coming in, but like I feel like if they picked up a top 4 defensive, more minded right-handed D-man, I would just like this Ottawa team a lot better, a lot better. Someone like a Brett Pesce or something in the mold of that would be the best thing in the world. A Brandon Carlo when he's healthy, like something like that would be great. So that's all I got.
I'm surprised they didn't make a move in the offseason to snag up maybe just if somebody was shedding cap or whatever to snag up a defenseman.
Yeah, like they should have been all
like
in
somebody
on
I brought up was like Marcus Pettersson and stuff if people needed to shed guys, but Pittsburgh never ended up shedding anybody. And
Pittsburgh don't want to shed him now. Apparently, it doesn't seem like.
Well, yeah, they ended up shedding McCann and Tanev, so that was
Sort
That was
of.
enough
Yeah.
to get him.
We should
Well, clear their cap troubles.
future cap issues with getting rid of McCann, which I still don't like getting rid of McCann, but whatever. Leaf fans are probably more upset about losing McCann than Penguins fans, actually. Funny enough, he never played a game for them. So
yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, that's the last.
That Ottawa defense needs to step her up. Like I love Zub, the Zub.
Yeah,
love
Zub's
Zub,
good. Zub's all right.
But he is playing with Shabbat. Maybe that's why I love the Zub.
Yeah, he is. And Shabbat's so good, by the way. Like he is the most underrated D-man out there right now, I think. For
how do you
that
like
people
your
just
new
don't.
acquisition in Gambrell? They're playing
Uh,
for the 7th round pick. Have you
I
No.
didn't even notice he was on the ice once.
Maybe he hasn't played yet for.
I don't know if he's played yet. Honestly,
put in the lineup.
I don't know if he's played. I feel like he's not on there. Oh yeah, he is. He's right here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's there. I didn't see him playing at all.
2 games.
2 games. Did
he
play
been
yesterday?
On the ice for a goal, and unless he was on the ice for a goal and not on the ice for any goals.
Yeah, he didn't even play. So that's why I didn't notice him. Not great, apparently.
No, he didn't even play in that game.
No, he didn't even play in that game. Like I just looked at the roster and he wasn't in it.
What the 2 games they were like? They only had him for like. Ago? Yeah, no, that's weird.
So yeah, I don't know.
Shitty old Ottawa.
I look at Victor Mete and I understand more and more why Montreal just let him go. I like the opportunity. I thought they gave up on him super quick because I still do. Like he's only 23 and I'm not giving up on him. But I understand the deficiencies that they saw in him. He is not the greatest defensively by any means necessary. Like he's all right. But I don't know. I get why Montreal moved on. That's the best thing I can say about him right now. Give him more time. Give me 2 more years, and then I'll say he's a bust if he's not like done anything in this league. So I'll say that. And Del Zotto is like so fucking old. Like, get someone else, please. Why is he your most relied upon D-man when Shabbat's not there? When he's not playing the 28 minutes he is. Like, that's a problem. Michael Del Zotto at 31 should not be your second best D-man. But I don't know.
They're like free agents maybe or something. Like, geez.
Yeah, they signed Del Zotto and I just don't love it.
Yeah.
All. So yeah, that's all the games I got.
Yeah, same.
No more games to talk about. Cool. Let's move on to Jordan's injury corner quick. So
we can wrap this up with the injuries. We've got some interesting ones. To start with, we've got Matthew Perreault. He'll miss 2 to 3 weeks with an eye injury.
Right.
Rip. Yeah, I
he's
saw that.
Pretty good for them.
Yeah, I just got a hat trick the other week.
Yeah, exactly right. So, Raquel is considered to be week to week with an upper body injury. So that's a tough blow to the doctor.
Tough trade acquisition or tough for trade bait.
Yeah. Jumbo Joe is on IR, so he's gonna miss at least a week. I'm guessing he's just scouting out retirement homes, but who knows?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Update on the Jack Hughes situation. He will be missing at least 5 weeks with a left shoulder dislocation. He's going to be reevaluated at the beginning of December, and then
that sucks. I want him to play a lot because this was a good year. I thought for him.
Yeah,
I thought this would be a really good year.
Tyler Parsons is out with an undisclosed injury. He's going to miss at least 2 to 3 weeks.
Tyler Parsons. I mean, it's not like the end of the world. They got Vladar, so
yeah,
as their backup.
Exactly. So
and
Vladar's been a great.
Vladar's been decent so far. Yeah, I wouldn't be upset about it.
Yeah, it's just a shame because this is a good year for Tyler Parsons to come in and set himself up as a backup. Miles Wood will be out for a week or 2 with a lower body injury.
Yeah. That sucks.
Similarly, Jordan Greenway is also going to be out for at least a week with a lower body injury.
It's only a week, so that's 2 games.
Not
too
too
bad.
big of a deal. One that's a little bit worse, William Karlsson, that is.
Wild Bill.
Yeah, at least 6 weeks. He broke his foot against Anaheim.
Hey, we found out where Stevenson's gonna play now. He can play second line center now.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I think he's still first line center, I guess, because Eichel's out for that long too.
Yeah, they got Brett Howden up there right now.
The old Ranger. The old warrior. The Moose Jaw warrior.
Yeah. Speaking of Jack Eichel, as I said, he's getting that neck surgery that he's been wanting. So they're hoping.
Is there a day that he's getting it?
Not a day.
Not official yet? Okay.
I think maybe the 25th of February.
Oh, when he's back. What about like for getting the surgery? Like his.
I'm not sure.
They didn't announce that. We'll probably have that next
week.
But
is the end of February.
Cool. Yeah.
He'll be at the Olympics. I'm saying it now.
He will be at the Olympics. Whether he plays is a different question. That's what I'll say. I don't know if he will for sure.
Man, I hope he does. I
hope he does too.
But so bad, or else like why the hell? Yeah, I'd hate those guys for waiting. Like I said, Kevin Adams, you're from America. Why would you born in America and you made him miss the Olympics?
Not a true
or any
American.
of the GMs.
Banish him.
Maybe
Banish
it was is the GM for Vegas Canadian?
I don't know.
Pushing it off until he can't come back.
That would be so fucking funny. That would be so fucked up, but so funny at the same time. Kelly McCrimmon. I don't know what Kelly McCrimmon. He's from Saskatchewan too. Yeah, baby. He is Canadian.
Always got a Saskatchewan.
No Jack in the Olympics.
Is any sort of Olympic win, any sort of Stanley Cup handed out, a Saskatchewan member was involved.
That is amazing. So good. Sorry, Jordan. You can continue with your corner.
As we mentioned before as well, with Tuck, he's getting shoulder surgery. There we go. So he's going to be out at least until January, and then that's when the Sabres are hoping to get him.
Same as Eichel, so.
Yeah, roughly the
same timeline,
I believe.
Basically. Might get an extra few games before the Olympic break.
Dylan Larkin is out for at least a week with personal issues, so I'm not really sure on the timeline, but
yeah, of course. I heard about that yesterday.
Yeah. Jonathan Drouin is out with a head injury.
I saw that.
Yeah.
It looked bad. He got puck right to the head.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off before you finish it.
At least a week.
Okay, that's not bad. So it's not that crazy.
It's not too bad. It looked a lot worse.
Looked worse the way he bombed off the ice. He'd literally gone up in a second
he's a guy who sits in front of the net often too, so it's the one time that he's there.
Yeah, that didn't look good. No. I didn't like that.
You could tell he was in pain. So.
Big time.
But,
and they were working Detroit that game too.
Yeah.
That's why Chase didn't want to talk about the Wings this week, because they got worked by the Canadians.
Oh man, when we don't have Larkin and Bertuzzi, those are that's the team. That's the only guys. Other teams are we gotta make sure those guys don't do stuff.
Yeah.
When they're not there, oh man, it's literally just Raymond and Seider, just we're the best, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, we didn't score again. I think that's 2 games in a row that we didn't score, or only scored 1 goal again when we didn't have Bert. So that's fun.
You really need him. Shame.
Yeah.
Anyways, Jordan, you can continue.
Yeah, it's okay. Last 2. We got 2 more. Cale Makar, he's out for at least a week with an upper body injury. And Sid the Kid, he's on COVID protocol. So he'll be out till at least the 14th of November.
Fucking stupid is what it is. Plays 1 fucking game and now he's out. Are you shitting me? Yeah. Are you shitting me? Why is it? Why? Why does this always happen to us? Always. It's always a damn penguin.
We're gonna have to create a clip somebody just going nuts, like why?
Like,
whenever
just
a Penguins guy gets an injury, Jordan will
should
right
just
when you say it, we'll just boop.
oh fuck! I'm so sick of these injuries in Pittsburgh.
Sorry, buddy. That's the last one. That's
Today.
yeah, at least for today.
Wait until tomorrow when we find out someone broke their toe playing soccer in the hallway.
Mhm.
Like, oh my god,
Yeah,
I'm
super
so...
bad hang now. Can't put his gloves on.
Oh my god.
Gonna miss a game. Just wasn't ready that game. Sad.
Yeah, Jake
Had to put the
Gensel
roster
out with
in.
hangnail. Fuck.
It happened in the pregame warm-ups. We couldn't make a decision before we had to get the roster in. Like,
Twisted eyelash.
John Marino got toe turf. He's out for tonight.
yeah, there's the toe turf pick would take something from the NFL.
Yeah.
They sprained their eyelash.
New news in the NBA. Oh wait, this is NHL news. He sprained his eyelash. Like, fuck. Always a Penguin.
LeBron James again.
Carried off the ice. Oh, I thought this was basketball.
Could you imagine somebody like trying to get a call? Like there was Marchand or somebody for a little bit there that one year that was like trying to actually get calls because all these rules were put in, so they just assumed that you could get easy calls by making stuff explode by diving and whatnot. But like the dives you see in the NBA are just like outrageous.
Yeah.
Hey,
Dives
like
and flops are
how
different ways to describe it.
yeah, like how would it look in the NHL to like actually like do that sort of comparable dive? Like
See,
it would look so funny.
We
like,
saw it.
Like,
no,
more on your impact on the ice.
Guys, just
that.
wait.
Like,
I think
hurt yourself.
I think we've seen it. I think we've seen it from a goalie. Like last 2 years ago in the playoffs. I think it was like Hugh Doman or something.
Yeah, but it wasn't
was
like
it?
Crazy. Man.
No, it was
wasn't,
crazy,
like,
dude.
Literally like somebody a foot or two away from you. Like at least it's somewhat.
Okay, it wasn't that bad.
Like
a guy
at least touched him.
No, what happened though was
like,
a guy like
guys don't get touched in the NBA and they're just like oh blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but in the goalie like happened? Barely was touched and he fell back like he got shot from a sniper rifle point blank. Like he fucking like hand on the head like fainting. Look, he just flops. It was the funniest thing ever because it looked exactly like the NBA on skates. So, oh no, too good. I love diving. So ridiculous. So at least the NBA is not as bad as like soccer.
It's entertaining.
Like, yeah, go watch like European soccer. Jesus Christ, I've never seen. Or go watch Jordan, or not Jordan on this, our friend Jordan play soccer. You'll see diving every 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm complaining about everything.
Britt, yeah.
Oh, I got kicked.
Oh man, I love Britt, but fuck, he dives all the time. He's true Englishman. He is. Yeah. Oh my god, so good. Well, let's move on. Do we have anything else really to talk about? Not a whole lot.
I think that was the last.
That's pretty much just we got the two. I guess I got 2 things. I can BS something, bringing up some little fun game we can do. To start, I want to talk about the Hurricanes before we jump into it, though. Just because they're the only undefeated team left in the NHL, so I think they deserve to be talked about a
Hurricane.
little bit. Chase, do you want to start it off a little bit with how their season is going and what? Let's say, how about we each come up with one player each that we really like and can elaborate on Carolina. Who has impressed you thus far in Carolina?
Oh, Freddie, because he's my guy.
Yeah, man.
Just love Freddie. I have him in my fantasy league, so I'm just really reaping the benefits of him winning every single game.
Yeah, every game. 8 games.
But yeah, no, it feels like it was when he was in Anaheim, and that's what I like to feel in the situation, because that just means he's back. He's gonna be just being a goalie, and it's nice for that. You don't have to hear nonsense in Toronto, and
yeah,
just create
just
doubt
like
on
one
yourself for
bad
no
game
reason
and then
stuff like that.
then it flurries into something worse. Yeah.
Yeah, you literally you lose like 2 games or something like that, and the
And
Leafs are 4-4, and they're just like losing their
off with
minds.
your
What's
head.
going on? Like, what's the problem,
Yeah.
guys? You guys are like 3-4. I think it was like a week or two ago when everybody was like, "Oh, what's going on here?" Like,
I mean, I got it because last week felt
yeah,
different
not
than
looking
every
good.
other
It's
year.
not looking good for sure, but like, have you seen around like Colorado's in the same spot as you right now? Like,
Yeah, but they've at
Tampa's
least
got the
won a
same
round.
record, and
They've won a round
they've
at
like
least and a cup or
yeah,
two.
yeah, but just to start a season, it was just unbelievable how much
The reasoning
how
for
far we
that,
were how far it was being taken, how bad the Leafs team was, and I'm just
I
like, I don't know, like,
agree in
calm
a
down
way,
little bit,
but I think Leaf fans were hurt more last year than last playoffs than ever in their lives.
yeah, but it's not the worst.
Right?
Lose a couple
Yeah.
games, like, geez Louise,
Yeah,
like,
but like the playoffs, like it's you don't have confidence in your team when they do anything wrong. Like, I get that. Like they've been bad.
well, they didn't play Freddie. Did they play Freddie in that? I don't think they did.
No. But I'm just defending the fact that like Leafs fans, like they're upset, and I think they have more reason to be upset this year than not. That's one team I will not say has jumped the gun on reacting to them because they're in a hard division. They're already like maybe a playoff team. Like before the season had started, they had that final against, or the first round against Montreal. Like I would be depressed too if I lost first round to Montreal last year. I was the year before.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
it
be a little
sucks.
edgy
It
once you
fucking
start losing a
sucks
couple
being
games,
the
you get a
best
little worried,
team and then
but-
losing the next season again. So especially from a team that hasn't even won a round. So I get why they're upset. But back to Carolina. Sorry to just jump through on that.
Yeah, no, just love the old Freddie.
Freddie's
dog. Like,
dope.
that's just-
Love Freddie. Jordan, who do you got in Carolina that you've liked thus far?
Vincent Trocheck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah.
his ability to move up and down the line, play first line power play, like he's just kind of one of those guys you can slot anywhere. You can play him on the fourth line, and
He's like the best Swiss Army knife in the NHL.
yeah,
I can't believe he left Florida. It just blows
I
me away.
know. I can't believe they betrayed that. That trade still baffles me. Like, if you look back at that trade, by the way, I don't think Florida has anything left from it. Crazy
Probably
enough.
not. No,
For the
that
Trocheck
was
trade.
just tough.
Yeah, I love Trocheck. He's dope. I wanted him instead of Bukestad in that Penguins trade so bad back in the day when we got McCann and Bukestad for Brassard or whatever. I really wanted Trocheck. He's so good. Love him. I'm gonna go with a defenseman just because you guys didn't. I was gonna bring in Steven Lorentz, but I'm gonna say Tony DeAngelo because of how many points he's getting on this power play, and Carolina is using him properly. They're playing him with Ian Cole on the third line, so he gets limited 5-on-5 ice time, which is great. It's exactly what you want with Tony DeAngelo, less 5-on-5. And he gets all of the power play minutes and just reaps the benefits. Like, he has 10 points in 9 games. Like,
Yeah,
for a
playing
guy,
like 15, 16 minutes and playing all the power play.
yeah,
minutes,
like
that's
it's
exactly
worked.
how it was going to end up because he wasn't going to play.
My
like you said, on the 5-on-5, it's not.
That was my worry though. Was I trust Brindamore a lot, but I was a little worried that they were going to put him in a role that was too much for him to handle defensively, and they didn't, which is nice. And hopefully he's not like as big of a cancer in the locker room. Like, I think if anyone's gonna ship it out of you, it's Rob. But
yeah,
no.
like basically just get all that crap out of here, hey.
Yeah, and
Like,
it also helps to have a Jacob Slavin being like the best like defensive defenseman out there, pretty much. He's up there, so can't complain about that. So I just wanted to like touch on the Hurricanes because they're doing so damn good. Even though, well, they didn't do good last game, but they played Chicago, so they won anyways. So, let's I got something here for you guys. I'm gonna list a couple players here. I'm gonna list their contracts as well. Let's do goalies this week, just guys. We'll do goalies this week. I'm gonna list 5 goalies, and you have to decide who you guys want as your franchise for the next 10 years or 8 years, whatever. Let's say 8-year contract, okay? And I'm just gonna rifle some names out. So,
Cool.
I'm gonna kick it off with Thatcher Demko.
Yeah, beauty.
Gotta bring him up. Jack Campbell. Samsonov, Shesterkin, and Sorokin. So those 5 goalies for the next, let's say, 5 years, 10 years, whatever years you want, based on what their kind of cap hits are or projected to be. Who's the goalie you like best to build your team around? I'll start with you, Jordan.
How many years are on these contracts? Yeah.
1 year left on Campbell. Sorry, so he's up this year. So you gotta think of it as an extension. 4 years on Thatcher Demko. We got the rain. Sorokin, I believe, is 1 or 2 more years after. 4 more years on Shesterkin. And I already forget who the 5th goalie I listed was. Who's the 5th goalie I listed?
Shesterkin, Samsonov,
that's who it was. I missed him. He is under contract for the end of this year. So 3 goalies up this year, being Sorokin, Samsonov, and Campbell. Sorokin's got 3 years. What am I talking about? He just signed. So 3 years Sorokin, 4 years for Shesterkin and Demko at around 5. $4 million for Sorokin, and then next year you gotta pay Samsonov and Campbell, who are both making like $2 million right now. So let's start with you, Jordan. Who is the one goalie you pick out of those 5 to build your team around?
For me, it's Thatcher Demko. He's a bit younger. You can see those flashes of absolute magic from him. I think he's got term. I like that it's not too expensive. I think for me, he's the easy pick.
Yeah, I fair. Funny enough, actually, I think at least 3 or 4 of them are the same age, like 25, 26. Mm-hmm. Samsonov's the youngest, actually, at 24.
Yeah,
crazy enough. But yeah, Demko, that makes complete sense with it. Chase, which are you picking?
Oh, jeez, that is a tough one.
It's tough. I probably could have taken Campbell's out, but
I'm fighting between Demko and Shesterkin for sure. Because one, you got the 4 years and locked in around like $5 million. So
it's exactly $5 million for Demko, and it's 5.6 for Shesterkin, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
so
like you almost have to take the Demko just because he saved that extra
600
penny. Yeah, I think I would take Demko, man. It's hard to even say that because like Shesterkin's been just unreal, man, this year.
Yeah, he has been really good. I take Demko too, but like you guys know how high I am on Demko. I've got.
Oh man, that's hard. Like I'd really would like to take Shesterkin,
and I know who I look at.
That would be tough.
Know who I'm surprised you guys didn't take. That I'm just because like Demko has been picked on. Sorokin. Like Sorokin is $4 million for 3 years. It's a 1 less year, but it's at least $1 million cheaper than Demko. He's so good too. Like I'm not saying that it's the wrong answer for Demko. By any of these goalies would be a W to have, frankly. I mean, I probably shouldn't have thrown Jack Campbell in there thinking about it now because he's 29 and I guess a little less unproven. But I was just curious to see what you guys thought on who, because I go Demko. I think Demko's just the greatest. A follow-up question, because Chase and I were talking about this earlier, so I want to know what Jordan thinks. Who would you take between these 2 players then, Demko or Carter Hart?
As of right now, Demko.
Well, like for the next to start your franchise with. So if you're
it's a tough question because like right now, with what I've seen from both of them, I'm taking Demko. If you'd asked me this last year before seeing Carter Hart's year, I'd have said Carter Hart. If you asked me this next year, the answer could be Carter Hart.
Yeah,
Okay,
no doubt.
okay.
I feel you, man. I feel you, and that's what I was telling him, is that, like, in all reality, man, like, I don't like deciphering these kinds of goalies because I believe they'll be in the same type of caliber ish, where exactly that you'll say, well, this guy's better this year, and then you'll say the other way around the next year, basically. And it'll probably just be a forever trend of saying that. And then in the end, after 20, 15 years of them playing, their numbers are like the same or something like that. And you're like, oh, well,
Yeah, but
same goalies, but like both amazing. Hey,
we're also predicting here where it's just a talking
That's
point to who's going to be better down the line, and that's the only point I want to talk about, because like there's another goalie I could throw in with this. Like, what about Spencer Knight and Demko?
Yeah, see, that's more challenging, right? Because for me, the consistency of Demko was what took it over Carter Hart.
Yeah,
at least right now.
Okay, then with Spencer Knight, who's 20 years old, 2 more years on ELC, and is shown he's a capable NHL goalie.
Well, I would almost,
that would put
to predict
Right?
that, I'd almost say Knight, because he has, I think he does have very elite talent, but
So do
that's
I.
just all perception right now. Hey,
We don't know.
more than it is like super facts. But that, like we're kind of saying, like next year I could be saying 100% Knight, or in 2 years I'm saying 100% Knight, and Demko's not in that question. But I can see Knight being that guy, because man, was he highly touted, and from whenever I've seen him play, like he's looked like an NHL goalie every time I've ever seen him play, which is
right. You watch him.
Yeah. So yeah, no doubt. So
Yeah,
I'd almost take Knight just for the shot,
the
in
extra
the
5
dark,
years.
more or less. Like, do the opposite of what Vegas does and just take the shot in the dark on the young guy that has high ceiling, instead of just taking. Obviously, you would take Demko right now. I would think, because he does look like he could be just as good as Knight ceiling.
Right, and that's just exactly why I want to bring it up. It's just a talking session, whether who's the greatest younger goalies coming up, because we're kind of in that new wave of goalies coming. If it's already, I shouldn't even say it's coming, it's here. There's still some guys coming through that'll make teams, like obviously Askarov is the number one guy, and then right after that there's Kosa and Wallstead. Like, those 3 goalies look like they're gonna be pretty fucking good. So
yeah, exactly.
like, we're in a new wave. So I was just curious where you guys are leaning towards, because all in all, they all are kind of different goals.
What do you guys feel with, like, Philip Gustafsson, an older goaltender that should be able to be a goalie? Like, do you think he'll be that goalie? Like, I think he'll find himself in some sort of starting role.
I think he'll just take a little more time.
Like, maybe he'll come up when these other younger goalies start coming up or something like that.
Well,
like,
he's here. That's the difference with Gustin. He's here too.
Exactly.
Like, he's their backup. He's battling the backup. Well, Matt Murray gets hurt for half the year, so he's a backup at least for half of an NHL season.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting at. Is that,
I think
he be able to just take this role in the next year or two by just simply filling in for a hurt Matt Murray.
But based on who they have in the pipeline and everything, and what they have now and everything, I will wholeheartedly say yes. In 2 years, Philip Gustafsson will be the starting goalie for the Ottawa Senators.
Now, do you match him
he's
up
still an
with
Ottawa
any
Senator
of these? Like,
not,
I wouldn't match him up with Demko,
not with
and
these
Hart,
guys.
I would put him, maybe he can be a tier below. Like, can he be that good?
Like a Nedeljkovic? Like,
yeah, no doubt.
Those guys in there? Well, here, I can probably, there's
like
a couple goalies you can throw in
Nedeljkovic.
there. Swayman, maybe. Arguably, you can throw Swayman in. Jari is probably in that mold of young but good. I think you take Jari more now than any of them, because he's proven, is the only thing. Jari's more proven. I think Jari would have been a better fit than actually Campbell with the other guys, frankly. But yeah, there's a couple of young goalies I agree with that are in that mold. Eventually, I wonder about Caden Primo with the Canadians. Same with, and another young goalie I need to talk about, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen in Buffalo. Like, They're hoping he plays
like-
next year as this young goalie.
Well, they were almost planning to play
Or
him
this
this
year.
year. What I heard is that they wanted to like kind of cycle him in and stuff like that if things didn't go well
Yeah.
or whatever.
It's
sort of
going
stuff.
well
But
right now, so
I'm sure he'll be playing. At some
he'll
point
play
this year.
games this year for sure. And another goalie in Vancouver, Mike DiPietro.
Yeah, where is he
Who-
actually gonna play?
Are you
that
guys?
team's just
That's a better
build it, just
question. Do you
unreal
prefer?
contender.
Do you guys prefer Gustafsson or DiPietro as a future? Both really haven't proven shit yet, so that's why it's a very shot in the dark.
yeah, like no doubt.
They're really even.
Another goalie I didn't even think to bring up that's young and could be on Team Canada is Mackenzie Blackwood. Like, look at all these young goalies coming in that are just gonna take over the NHL.
The league's gonna steadily get better.
Yeah, like, and like where you're, that's the issue. Like, I go on every team, I'm like, he's a great goalie. He's a great goalie. At what point do you say, in comparison, maybe not so? Look at Elvis. Look how good Elvis probably is, and everyone says good things about him. Would you take?
Yeah, and
Is he a
yeah,
top
he-
10 goalie in the world in the NHL? Probably not.
yeah,
So-
because like where are we ranking? We're like when we're talking about Demko and Hart, we're probably ranking them close to this top 10 in the world, sort of thing. when
I
it
put
comes down
Demko in
to,
the
like,
top
they
10 in
sort
the
of-
world without fail.
Yeah,
I put
without
Shesterkin in there as well. Out of the goalies, like the 5 we talked about, I put Shesterkin and Demko for sure in. If Varlamov wasn't an Islander, I would probably put Sorokin in, but because he's not like dead set the starter,
Yeah.
I won't,
Uh-huh.
right? It's just one
Like
of those.
Price has to be in there.
Price is in there
Technically,
after what he did this year.
Does
top
Bob
10.
have to be in there from his past? Hellebuck's in there for sure.
I would say no.
I'd
but
probably take
I
Bob
would be
out right now.
I would
maybe.
say Bob. Ask
he
me
looks
again at
good.
the deadline. Ask me again at the trade deadline,
No shit, eh?
and I might have a different answer for you. Another like is Kemper in there?
Yeah, exactly. Is Kemper in there?
Is Kemper a top 10 goalie? Like without fail,
Is
number
Bennington?
number 1 is Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
Number 2 Hellebuck, right?
Yeah, like are the guys we're
Markstrom's got to
talking
be in
about-
there. So we got Demko, Markstrom, Shesterkin, Kemper as well. So 6 guys. Those are just 6.
P. Rice, like Price is a good
Price,
one.
yeah,
Like,
sorry,
what is-
Price. I forgot to name him. That's 7. Is Leonard? I know he struggled.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
Bennington?
Leonard's gonna-
UC
Leonard's
Saros.
really- Yeah, UC Saros, like exactly where. is
That's a
UC
better
Saros
question.
compared to, like Bennington and how Demko and how Hart and these sort of guys gonna be like. Are we just talking? We have like in the future, we're just gonna have like 30 actual starting
Yeah,
goaltenders,
and
we'll
that's-
have good backup goaltenders. Like,
Which is crazy.
is this a reality? Because that would be so weird. Because we can easily name 15 unreal good
Yep.
goalies, right?
Well, and that's something like with Saros. Would you prefer Saros over Demko or Demko over Saros still? Because
Exactly.
like
Hey, I'd
Saros
probably
is on
take
such
Saros
a
right now.
bad
Like,
team. Yeah, Saros
like,
carried
he's
them to the
been-
playoffs.
Yeah, like no doubt. Hey.
Not that Vancouver is like an elite team. That's
But
helping
career-wise,
Demko,
you're
but
probably going to want Demko because, like, the guy's young, and look what he's done in his young career
I
already.
mean, I'm pretty sure Saros is like 26, 27, so like he's 2 years
Yeah.
older. 26, he's a year older than him, and same contract. So that's
Oh, yeah,
that's
is
the
that
perfect
right? That's pretty
comparable.
unreal.
Exact same
Crazy.
contract, a year older. Maybe has more games played, or probably I shouldn't say maybe. Probably has a lot more games played.
Wow,
He
I
has
thought
163
a
games.
wee bit older.
Just a wee bit older. And then for Vancouver, how many games has Demko played? Demko has played 80. So he's played about 50 more games than him, Saros. But Demko's save percentage last year in 35 games was a 915 on a bad Vancouver team.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, no doubt.
holy, that's pretty good. Not that Saros's, I bet last year was even better.
Yeah, we haven't even brought up like a Grubauer too.
A
Like,
Grubauer?
if we don't bring up Demko,
Yeah.
some of these guys that
Yeah,
have been playing good
Grubauer.
the last year or two, like Grubauer's been unbelievable, and he still looks good. So
Didn't even think of him, and he's
What
someone
about
that you should argue.
yeah, like what if Holtby's back, dude?
That's
Like
still
he looks pretty damn good in that Stars uniform and
absolutely.
performing fairly well. Like all it takes is a real good year.
Just
out of
pick
him.
any Stars
year,
goalie,
like,
and you could
Montreal,
argue
like-
they're decent.
Freddie, yeah, I guess, but it's still you still need that guy to do the job.
Yeah,
You know.
for sure. And I mean, obviously, like goalies fit differently in different systems, right? Some goalies love being peppered with shots, and some hate it. Some prefer just if you can keep the shots on the outside, I'll save everything. Like Varlamov. Like Varlamov is very much that goalie. If you don't give him any easy, like no big opportunities, huge opportunities, he's probably gonna save most, if all. If you play smart defensively. But if you put him on a team like Vancouver, who do get peppered with shots, I bet he lets in 5 a game. Right? It's just different styles of goalie fitting with different systems as well. Like,
yeah, it's just it's the big question is how long a lot of these teams are going to hold on to their guys and roll their duos and stuff like this, because
goalie carousel is
could just hang out with these guys.
Yeah.
Just because they could, but like a lot of situations, it ends up it changes quite quickly. They don't usually keep two really good goaltenders together, like Nashville with Saros and Askarov. Once Askarov settles himself in,
Saros will probably be
you're forced to move somebody. It's
can't start both of them. That's
look at Vegas. It just doesn't end up. You can't do it. You can do it maybe for a year or two.
Yeah,
but like there's always
someone needs to win the job. It's not like when you have 2 center prospects and they're like the greatest. You can play them on line 1 and 2 or 2 and 3.
Or one guy just has to be
one on the wing,
the starter over the other guy, because like going into the playoffs, like who was that not that long ago? It was either this year, last year, or the other year when they got 2 goalies. They didn't know where to start, and it was just weird.
That happens a lot.
It happens quite a bit.
The Leafs were almost that last year.
Yeah, Leafs were like that. Like the Islanders have been kind of like that with Sorokin and Varlamov.
I think the difference is with them though is like, last year seemed to be Vegas.
Vegas
had 2 elite goalies and didn't know which one to start, and they went with Fleury. So it's definitely a case where, and like.
It just doesn't last long. Hey,
doesn't last. You play the
Michael
hot hand.
DiPietro, is he going to be a backup goalie? Like if he can be a A1B-ish sort of goalie, then do you ever have to move him or whatever? And he just doesn't play very many games. Like he's going to want to play games. That's what then ends up. That's why you end up having to break up the marriage anyways. Like when you got 2 good young goalies or 2 goalies coming up, because like in the end, that guy's going to be like, I'm good enough to play more than 20-30 games a year or fill in when this guy gets hurt or something like that, and then just not play in the playoffs.
Well, and we'll start hearing that next year. I wouldn't be surprised if Michael DiPietro's a backup goalie for Vancouver next year, with Halak having a year left.
Yeah, and we're talking goalies, so you have like the least and lowest expectations on all these goalies, because
goalies don't turn out always. Yeah, as management, you can't expect a goalie to be good, because I bet I could go to every single team in the NHL and pick up one goalie that has some sort of a ceiling. Like that's NHL level. I mean,
see, like what I'm getting at is
like Stuart Skinner.
Rangers. Like look what happened with the Rangers. This is a perfect example. Like they just kept Georgiev. They didn't just they didn't just randomly trade him. They let it pan out a little bit. It looks like Georgiev's going to be a backup goalie, and I think he's fine with that. Yeah. They might have found a way to just keep these 2 guys those might be your goalies, man. So
I still look at Georgiev and I wonder though, is he going to
want out and want to play? You know,
I wonder if
he could have left right now and went to Zona.
He could have, yeah.
I guarantee you that could happen, right?
Absolutely. That's my question. Like that's the thing though. Like, there's a lot of these goalies out there of the Georgiev type. Like Stuart Skinner is pretty well in the same boat. Like he could turn out, but will he?
Yeah, exactly.
Same with Gustafsson and DiPietro. They could turn out, but will they? Jack Campbell was an 11th overall pick by Dallas, I'm pretty sure. It took him until he's 29 to become a starting goalie for an NHL team.
Yeah.
Like that's. Yeah, he was 11th overall by Dallas. I nailed that. That was crazy. But, like, no, it's just, I don't know. Some goalies do it, and some don't. Mikey DiPietro was drafted 1st overall. Where is he now? in the press box talking about the Islanders.
Still getting paid.
Still getting paid, yeah. So like, it's never a guarantee with a goalie. Never a guarantee.
Yeah, that's why you see two-headed monsters ending up, right? Because like you have to wait until it happens, and then you're like, "Yep, this guy is epic. We can't."
The best, the most controversial two-headed monster. Maybe not controversial, but the biggest story two-headed monster in hockey was Carey Price and Yaroslav Halak back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
They were considering trading a young Carey Price for Halak to keep Halak. Right, like he took him on their run. Price struggled. Like it was
I remember
not far. Yeah, and then Halak
Halak's had quite the career. Eh?
He has had the like craziest career. He was an elite goalie for a couple of years. For like 3 years was awesome. Yeah, he went to St. Louis and was a starting goalie.
Louis, he was pretty good, man.
He wasn't bad. He was a Capital for 12 games too. Like. He's been around, like, he had so in Montreal 1 year, this isn't much, but in 6 games, he had, like, a 935, and in the AHL, he had a 929 in 28 games, like Halak was so good back then. He still is. I don't know, he's always been
He's always just
weird
been
goalie.
A goalie.
Been a good goalie.
Nothing unreal, but, yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Anyways, do you guys have any last points before I close out this podcast?
Nah.
No? All right. Go follow our social medias, guys, on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at The Couch on Ice. We're gonna... Chase and I have a lot of video ideas for the YouTube channel, so we're gonna get that going in the next couple weeks, month or so. We're at least starting to record stuff, and eventually we'll start posting it. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, have a good week watching puck, and email us. Let us know what you guys think about the Jack Eichel trade. How about that? Other than that, we'll catch you guys next week. Bye, guys.